So, I like the Ninja Turtles as much as the next person, but these seem kind of bland, don't they? I mean, the 80s figures, like, I want something that can bring them into the 90s. Something mighty. What's going on? Welcome back to another video. If you like the Ninja Turtles but think they need a bit more attitude, then guess what? Boom Studios and IDW have you covered because they did a crossover between Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers in a 5-issue limited miniseries. No, I am not making that up, and let me tell you, that is a lot better than the last crossover we got.
It's time for some shell shock! I can't believe it, but I think they're...
It's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles!
I'm still trying to erase that from my memory, but it just does not work. So really, much how that crossover left you saying things like... The Boom Studios and IDW crossover, really, I can't oversell enough because it really is a good story. And really, anything with a turtleized Megazord in it can't be wrong. Like, they're doing something correctly. So what we got from that 5-issue limited series is basically the Rangers in 3 2-packs and the Shredder and Green Ranger melded together in one separate pack. So here we have Donatello and Leonardo, Mikey and April O'Neil came in another one, and Tommy as a foot soldier, and Raph in the red suit came in another. And right now I found this at GameStop, half price actually. So this was, well, better than half price. This was $25. So I think I scored pretty well with this. Obviously, it's part of the Lightning Collection, so it's got that really cool, bright graphics on it. I love the cartoon-esque turtles that wrap around to the other sides. Like, it works. The other side is basically just a giant product shot, which is basically what the Lightning Collection is. They put a lot of work on the front. But you've got the Power Rangers Lightning Collection on one side and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the other. And an amalgamation of awesomeness in the middle. So, let's crack these boys open, shall we? So right off the bat, these guys come with a lot of accessories. 2 weapons each, spare head, 2 fists each, the obligatory open palmed hands for friendship, or if you're gonna shake hands. So there's those. The weapons are pretty cool, quite nicely decoed with the paint here. And I'm not sure if it's, yep, Triceratops, looks good. They managed to get it quite well detailed, if you can see. The silver accents on the blue plastic work. I like it very well. And they've also even got an effects part, which I always appreciate from the Lightning Collection, as it gives it a sense of real power. Like if you're in a swish pose, it really feels like Leo's bringing the pain with this. So yeah, I appreciate that. You can go on that side, or I assume, if I can get it in, that side, so it has a bit more of a crackly outward effect. So whichever way you have it on, it looks good and just adds a kind of little touch. There's only one that I found in the box. I'm assuming there was meant to be 2, but I can't find the other one for the life of me. So Leo's only going to have to bring the pain with one of these. So yeah. Now the first weapon for Donnie is Zack and Adam's blaster, and while the plastic on the swords was really good and stiff, this has a real bendy quality to it, which I don't like. It's probably bendy so he can get it into his hands, but it just doesn't feel solid. It feels like it's, you know, too much of a give and it's going to fall apart, unless it's designed to collapse, which I don't think it is. or combine, it feels weird. It feels dollar store-ish. But they've got the Mastodon, or as close as, it looks like Loki, alligator Loki, kind of. Oh no, I just had it ran the wrong way. It does look like a Mastodon. The paint apps are pretty good. I mean, there's uneven splotching on mine, but what are you gonna do? Quality control, people, quality control. But yeah, this looks good. I would have liked a blast effect to go in here, but you cannot have everything. But what you can have is a really neat little idea, turning the gun into Donnie's bow staff, or at least a giant axe. Like, the integration between the two weapons, the thinking is really good. It's I just see the Joker gun from Batman when he shoots down the Batplane, but again, it's got the rather nicely molded Mastodon symbol now that I've got it the right way up and I can see what it is. But yeah, that is a really good thing, and it comes with its own blast effect, which, if you look in it, has a molded section on the inside. Excuse me. Which, if I can do it correctly, without fudging it up too bad, is that it? Yep. Again, a swish and a blow, and it's meant to just show the power coming off this thing, which in Power Rangers, you have all the sparks, so these little blast effects, or, you know, what we call blast effects in the Transformers community, really do add that level of awe and swish with it. It really do work well, and I've got no complaints about these. These are really cool. I love them. Yeah. I wish it stayed on a bit better, but, you know, it's molded. It stays on a little bit. So that's Donnie's weapons. That's actually pretty good. Nice one, Hasbro. Gonna look at Donnie's civilian head next. They've gone for a very cartoonish approach. He's got like steampunk goggles, which I know as he's the tech guy, a lot of more modern series have given him these. Just an accoutrement add-on to his personality when, you know, you could just show us what he can do rather than just hint at what he can do. This is good. This really takes me back to like the old 80s cartoon. I know it's based more on the comics, but I really feel like their influence is from the show, like the original OG show. Just, it's got that color tone to it, and the plastic used and the coloring is very bright and vibrant. So that's how it feels. So there's Donnie. It's even got the original face just done in a cartoon way with the toy. Next is Leo, and Leo does not look happy. The molding is really good. Little touches here and there just add a bit of depth, like to the cloth. The nose scrunch, you know, the tiny little ridge under the frown, and just the very subtle lines that go from here to there really do make this really cool. It's well painted. It's well painted to a point, I would say. There's obviously always going to be a bit of QC issues with mass-produced figures. It's just something I point out. It's a minor gripe with everything, but life ain't perfect. But this head does come pretty damn near close. I just wish he wasn't so frowny. Gonna look at Donnie first, and the one thing you notice when you take the figures out of the packaging is there's some heft to them. Like, the limbs feel very light and flimsy, but the body, obviously because of the shell, is mainly where all that heft is. And I like the fact they've got a place for the bow staff, just like on the original 80s toys. The integration between the costumes of the Turtles and the costumes of the Power Rangers is really well designed. I really love it. I love the slashes, which are molded really well. I love the helmets, which do have their original kind of look, but just with a Ninja Turtle-esque mask and the red piercing eyes on all of them, it adds a bit. It makes it their own. Like, you can see Mighty Morphin in there, or Zyuranger, but it really does. You can really feel the Turtle-esque qualities to it, and it's really good because they do that in a couple of episodes of the actual show, I believe, with the when was it? When they go back in time to the Old West and the costumes have got the Old West tassels on it. Like, the costumes seem to know how to integrate themselves with the wearer's personality. Or the time period. It's very telling of how the powers are kind of sentient in a way, or they read your mind. It's just that's just something I noticed throughout watching Power Rangers and looking at these. But yeah, these have, there's a line here. I'm not sure if you can see. So I'm assuming that these legs can, yep, it's just real stiff. So you've got a real close joint up here, and then you've got a real high up. Oh, that does not sound good. You've got a real high up. Oh, that sounded painful, Donnie. I'm so sorry. So you've got the leg joint there. No waist, obviously, because it would be impossible. Double knee joints, which are pinless. I think this is the first time I've seen pinless joints. And again, this is me taking it straight out, so these are real stiff, but it's basic Marvel Legends and Power Rangers articulation. Boot swivel as well at the top, and obviously ankle rocker and back. Oh, that's the best back and forth out of the box I've ever had for a foot. But again, getting back onto the integration for a second before I go over anything, the molding, they've got like a kind of ninja-esque slipper, and their feet are highlighted. Again, with the hands, you know, 2 fingers and a thumb. They do have a chest back and forth, but because of the clearance between the chest plate and the turtle shell, this joint is pointless. Like, on this figure, I have no idea why they added it. But joint here all the way around, up and down clearance, swivels here, double pinless. Is that pin? No. Is it? No. Double pinless there, and obviously articulation for the wrist. And that's on both sides. This feels good straight out of the box. It feels hefty. There's a little bit of weight issue with the counterbalance of how hefty the middle part is, the torso, and how small the arms are, but that's just the design of the figure. I think that was going to be an issue either way, but it's good. Pose is real good, better than the freaking Star Wars ones. That took me ages to freaking stand up. Leo, much brighter color scheme. The helmet, that's another good thing I like. You couldn't really tell on the Donnie figure, but the sheen on these guys, especially the helmets, is really good. Obviously, they're on a peg, but because of the thickness of the neck, just like here, there's barely any clearance. I mean, he's got the same pinless double swivel wrist on both sides, and straight out of the box, they feel good. There's a bit of give. Oh, no trouble moving that joint at all. I think it was just Donnie that didn't want to move. Yeah, these feel good. Boot, ankle rocker. These, I've got to say, a lot of Marvel Legends out of the box and Lightning Collection seem very stiff. Like, when you move the ankle rocker for the first time, you feel like you're going to break something. But these actually feel solid. Yeah, decent straight away. And the molding, obviously, with the morphers in the belts is really good. And the detail in the torso as well is really good. It's just got that shimmery gold plastic, which works well. Ugh, gold plastic. Oh, the return. The shells are decked out in the same gold. I like them. They're hefty. They work. They look good. They will look good as a whole team if they can. Well, I just said you guys stand up perfectly. Right. Let's get these guys transformed into civilian heads. So civilian heads work exactly how you think. Ball joint pops off easy, goes on easy too. I like I like these look so goofy yet so cool, and the bright colors of two very childish franchises work really well together. I would have assumed that they'd have looked ridiculous as all hell, but even with the turtle heads, they do look good. Like, obviously, Leo's always going to look really upset with you, but Donnie, I love how they've given him the classic look that the toy had, and it mimics the original really well. Like, that's a good little detail in there. That's something I only just noticed, but it works pretty damn good. So yeah, the head sculpts are good and they look good on the figures. Completing this collection is definitely going to be a good thing that will look incredibly cool behind the originals. Let's get them with their weapons, see how they fare. So here we have Leo and Donnie with their weapons, looking pretty cool. And let's start with Leo. He's got the daggers. I want to say dragon daggers, but that's Tommy. He's got Billy's double knives, but obviously they're a bit sword-esque just to fit in with Leo's swords. So it's a kind of good compromise. They're still powerful, dangerous weapons. They're just not as long as regular swords. So it's good. He looks stoic. He looks leader-esque. He looks like Leo, moody and, you know, ready to give Donnie a talking to. The ridiculousness of these figures just bring back coming out of their shell vibes. It really is kind of... Donnie, I really do love the integration of the bow staff into Zach's weapon, or Adam, whoever you grew up watching or prefer. It just adds that little touch that you can have him displayed with both hands holding his weapon rather than just one or just the short axe. It works, and I don't really think it matters which heads you use with these, the morphed heads or the unmorphed heads. Either way, you're getting two iconic looks, one a little bit reimagined, in one figure. So the head really is superfluous. It's personal choice, I think, at this point. So yeah, just fall over drunk. Just fall over drunk, Donnie. Do whatever you want. These are a little bit of a weird oddity. I mean, they're cool and they're a lot better than the last crossover that we had. No, don't play.
Let's book! Alpha, 10 coming aboard.
Like, honestly, that leaves such a bad taste in my mouth, even as a kid. What the hell? But these guys, on the other hand, this is the breath of fresh air that I think was needed in a crossover between the two franchises, because it's not like they're not going to work together. They both have brightly colored characters. They both have a team of heroes. They're both teenagers. They're all teenagers. It's kind of destined to be, really. And it's weird. It's kind of like, weird is just the word of the day for these. Like, while they're cool, I'm not really sure who they appeal to, whether it's just Turtles fans or just Power Rangers fans, or maybe a little bit of both in between. But they exist, they're here now, and I've got them, so you might as well enjoy them if you got them. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. Small me in a box with some other videos next to me and social media above me. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you want to watch more toy content in the future, feel free to hit the subscribe button. And other than that, you just have an awesome day. You have a Mighty Morphin Day. You have a radical, tubular, other 80s, 90s catchphrase type of day. Yeah, I'm definitely weirded out by the figures a little bit. You might say I'm shell-shocked.